Guys, so I'm gonna read All-Star Comics number 3. So this is the first appearance of the Justice Society. This is gonna be very, very long. So I don't know if I'm gonna make this into one video, because I have made hour-long videos. Fantastic Four, I remember. But I don't know if it's gonna be like how long it's gonna be, because I know there's a bunch of pages. So I don't know if I'm gonna split it into parts or read it. But anyway. So featuring the Flash, Green Lantern, Spectre, the Hawkman, Dr. Fate, the Hourman, the Sandman, the Atom, and Johnny Thunder, in brand new episodes as personally related at the first meeting of the Justice Society of America. So Superman and Batman are not in this. When they were making Justice Society, they made it as more like an anthology. Like they were in a team, but like they'd have separate adventures. It'd be advertising obscure heroes or more well less known superheroes. So like they wouldn't have Superman and Batman because they mentioned that they're in the Justice Society, but they're not in it because they want to focus on the Flash and Green Lantern and that. So there's some like advertisements for guns and stuff, and film reel. Justice Society of America. All-Star Comics presents the first meeting of the Justice Society of America. Gathered in the Justice Society club rooms for their first meeting are the mightiest champions of right and justice in the world. The roll call: the Flash, the Hawkman, Spectre, Sandman, Dr. Fate, Hourman, Green Lantern, and the Atom. Poor Johnny Thunder has been left out of the meeting and he is sore. The Flash, Spectre, Hawkman, all members of the Justice Society. Say, you'd think those guys would invite me, but no, nobody ever thinks about me. Oops, say you, which sounds in English like say you. Did you hear Johnny say those magic Badesian hex words? They give him a terrific power for 1 hour to do whatever he wants. He doesn't know what it is that gives him this power, so let's watch what happens. Look for the Thunderbolt when he makes a wish. Ah, gee, I wish I was going to their old meeting. It's happening again. Here I go. Wham. Hey, Dr. Fate, why aren't you at the meeting? It hasn't started yet. I'm on my way there now. The hotel where the Justice Society meeting is being held. Gosh, what a dead place. Everybody's fast asleep. I've a hunch the Sandman's been busy again. So you're the chap that goes around putting people to sleep. Why did you put these people to sleep? Is the meeting a secret? Exactly. Look out. Here comes another friend of ours. The Flash. Hey, cool down, Mr. Flash. You ain't so hot. Oops. Johnny's magic. Hex words hex the Flash. Not so hot. You're right, I'm sort of chilly. Gee, that power of mine again. I take it back, Flash. Be yourself again. Hey, everything's getting green. Maybe I'm sick. Too much excitement. The Green Lantern. You touch your ring to the lantern and you get supernatural powers, right? Yes, but look above you. Who's that? The Hawkman. Gee whiz, you're all getting here now. I wish the rest of the crowd would hurry. And to answer Johnny's wish, I'm going to try to do a voice for the Spectre. How did you get in here? And what's... No, actually. No, I can't do it. Never mind. How did you get in here? And what did you do to make me come in here so quick? Gee, Spectre, I don't know. Honest, I don't. It's a power I have that makes me able to do anything I want. Bragging again, eh? One thing we Justice Men don't allow is boasting. We don't like swell heads. I ain't got a swelled head. It's a small head look. I guess you're not swell-headed, Johnny. What happened to me? My head, it doesn't feel right. Come on, Thunderbolt, cut it out. Make my head normal again. As soon as Johnny's head is all right. Since you're here, you might as well eat with us. It's a good dinner. I bet there's no dinner at all. The food, it's gone. Just when I was all set to dig in. The Spectre and I do not touch food, but the rest may be angry at you, Johnny. I'm sorry, honest. I wish there was a turkey and cranberry sauce and all the trimmings right here. Hooray, it worked. Sit down, fellas, let's enjoy ourselves. I never thought I'd get into this meeting, but here I am. And what are you going to contribute for your share of the dinner? Well, he just gave you dinner, asshole. I know. I'll contribute an idea. Suppose you each tell the most exciting experience you ever had. That'll entertain everybody. Not a bad idea at that. It's a good idea, but where's Superman, Batman, and Robin? They'd have some good stories to tell. They would, but since we're all here, somebody's got to look after things and protect people. So they're pretty busy right now. And where's Scribbly's pal, the red tomato? The red tornado. You mean the red tornado? I guess she's busy, too. All right, Flash, suppose you tell your story first. Okay, but I don't see why I should be first. Let me present the Flash, fastest man in any world. Moves like chain lightning and can run so fast he becomes invisible. Take it easy, Johnny. My story has to do with sunken treasure and how I helped a poor man escape a crowd of swashbuckling cutthroats. The Sancta Joanna, a Spanish galleon, went down off the coast of Panama in 1567. It was laden with gold plate and precious jewels from the Aztec treasure houses. Many attempts had been made to find it, but none of them had been successful. It lay in green-blue waters unseen by man for centuries. One day last summer, Joan Williams and I were dining in the Sandglass Club. I was in street clothes and using my regular name, which is, as you know, Jay Garrick. Jay, look, here comes Mary Rogers. Her father is the one who's looking for that buried treasure, isn't he? Hello, Mary. Whatever are you doing in the city? I'm trying to raise funds so Dad can continue his search for that Aztec treasure ship. A group of roughnecks have been giving Dad a lot of trouble. They've smashed our diving outfits, fought us, and spied on us. They're waiting until we can locate the treasure. Then they'll step in and take it, eh? After Mary left, Joan begged me to take a hand. But you could do it. Her father is practically alone. He can't afford a big crew to protect him. Sorry, Joan, but I have other matters to attend to in the city. I took Joan home and then fled through the streets like a disembodied spirit. I guess it wouldn't hurt for me to trot down there and give the situation the once-over. Scarcely 3 seconds later, I had changed clothes and was on my way to Panama. I had never seen any sunken treasure. This would be an interesting experience. I made it from New York to Panama in 16 minutes. That was pretty good time. Now to search for that ship underwater. I thought I might locate the galleon, so I searched the sea bottom. That must be Rogers' boat up there, but I won't pay him a visit yet. I learned afterwards that the speed of my progress disturbed the surface of the water. As sure as me name's Tim Rogers, that's a torpedo, sent by those devils on the Nancy K. But it passed me by, and look at it, a mile out to sea already. Here it is, the Sancta Joanna. This is it, but it's way off its course. The tides of the past 2 centuries must have pulled it a long way from where it sank. Above me, although I did not know it at the time, moved a hungry tiger shark. I felt a whirl of waters, the rush of a great body. What the? Am I seeing things? Or wasn't there a nice juicy man just here? Oh, that's what the shark... Am I seeing things, or wasn't there a nice juicy man just here? I swam close to the gaping jaws. Now, just to teach you a lesson. Round we went. Faster, faster. What have I got a hold of? Or has he got a hold of me? So long, Sharky. Old kid. See you in the aquarium. Mama, help, Mama! I paid a visit to the Nancy K. brig. Hey, look at that guy. Say, Hughes, what you doing here? It's a ghost. Maybe it's the Flying Dutchman. I took a quick look at their up-to-date diving equipment. Everything they'll need to salvage the wreck, but I don't think they'll be using it. I visited Rogers. And what might you be doing so far from land? I happen to know you're having a little trouble finding the treasure. I've come to help you. That galleon is a couple of nautical miles from here, south-southwest. And how would you be knowing that? I saw it, but don't stop to ask questions. Let's get right down to business. Okay, but how are we going to get there? My ship won't run. If that's all that bothers you, stop worrying. Grab your helm and hang on, we're traveling. Hey, what? I grasped the propeller and started to spin it, faster and faster. Very ingenious idea, Flash, old boy. Rogers was overcome with amazement. I don't know what that fellow did, but this old tub never went this fast before. And on the Nancy K there was some more astonishment. Hey, look! Rogers fixed his ship. He must have bought a whole new engine. Geez, look at that old tub go. Rogers was happy as a kid, but I knew that trouble was coming. We're right over the treasure. Go down and look it over. I'll watch for the Nancy K and its cutthroats. Me boy, you're all right. And trouble came while Rogers was at the bottom. Here comes the Nancy K. I think I'll pay her a visit. I dove, turned the Nancy K's rudder around, and started to spin her propeller. There was much excitement on board. Hey, what's happening? Where are we going? The ship turned around by itself. But there was more excitement when the diving equipment started to disappear. The diving suit, it's disappeared. Say, mighty queer things are happening around here lately. I swear, I've seen this character design in the Flash, like the old Flash, like a bunch of times. Like with the eyebrows and the bald, like I've seen that, like... I don't know if it's supposed to be the same character or not, I don't think so. I took away piece after piece, until there was no diving material left. As sure as my name's Burly Billy, I'll have the hide of the guy that stole my equipment. You'd better be careful or I'll take away your ship. Who the dickens are you? Why that screwy outfit? I'll fill you full of lead. Now where'd he go to all of a sudden? I dashed back to Roger's ship. He had just come up from the bottom. Me boy, you are right. That's the Sancta Joanna down there. And it's chock full of gold, she is too. Here's some real diving equipment for you. The Nancy K sent it over, kinda against their will. Tell me, how come they came down here at all? Word leaked out that I was after gold. Burly Billy is a black-hearted villain. He got a rough-necked crew together and trailed me. He threatened Mary and me, stole our lines and equipment, made life miserable. I sent Mary to New York for help. That's where I stepped into the picture. Look out! I moved so fast getting Rogers under cover they couldn't see me. There he is, or was. I don't see anybody. Hang on to your hats, boys. This time you're really going for a ride. I grabbed their guns and took them to pieces under their very eyes. By the time you're able to put these together again, you won't be needing them. I dove for the propeller. I think these mugs need cooling off. The Nancy K sailors cling to their rails in fear as the brig churned over through the seas. Oh, help, help! A few minutes after leaving Panama, we hove in sight of the Arctic icebergs. I don't know how we got here, but I'm so cold I'm sweating ice cubes. I head back towards Panama. I might as well finish what I started. I'll get the gold for Rogers and save him a lot of trouble. Back at the ship I made a few trips while Rogers watched with open mouth. This is the last of the treasure. Just watching you tires me out. My work was done. I left, leaving an astounded Rogers behind me. That fellow, he comes and goes, and I don't even see him. I returned to New York, changed clothes, and found Mary and Joan at dinner. Hiya, girls. Oh, there's Jay now. Perhaps maybe I can persuade him to help your dad. Jay, you've got to help Mary's father. Oh, yes, speaking of Mary's father, here's a telegram for Mary that might be from him. I stopped at the hotel for you two and they gave it to me. Why, his troubles are over. He's found it. He's found the treasure. So, Mr. Flash, that's what you've been doing all afternoon. Why didn't you tell me? You have wanted to come along. I needed to make a quick job of it because I'm so busy these days. and you'd have gotten in trouble and had to be fished out. That was great, Flash. I read about Rogers finding that treasure, but I didn't know you had anything to do with it. Well, there are lots of things we fellows do that nobody knows about. Am I right, Hawkman? Yes, you are indeed. And for some reason or other, it reminds me of one of my most exciting adventures. It had to do with some very strange men who could live in fire. So I read the Flash every month. Again, it's basically promotion for each character. Read the Flash every month in the Flash comics. Some of you may have heard about the eruption of Mount Krakatoa on an island between Java and Sumatra in 1883. Over 36,000 people were killed. Well, there is a strange story about things that occurred there recently. Last year, Krakatoa went into action again. I was present at Carter Hall, of course, at a gathering of the Science Club in New York. I discovered Shiera Saunders, my helpmate in prior adventures, was going after information. Yes, the Society has decided to study the volcano, and more than that, I'm going to investigate some queer tales. She spoke of strange balls of fire seen by the natives, and of fierce explosions heard underground. After the science session, I escorted Shiera home. I'm sailing for Krakatoa tomorrow. Well, good luck and be careful. Oh, Carter, help! Die, profaner of ancient mysteries. Mazda the Great has ordered your death. But as I left, a man was lurking in the shrubbery waiting to kill her. Luckily, I was on him before he could drive the blade home. Spoke out of turn a little, didn't you? Shiera Saunders is going to Krakatoa. She had better stay away or the fire ghosts will get her. She seeks to learn about Mazda, who controls them, and that is forbidden. Don't let him go. Don't harm him, Carter. Let her go. Let her go. Or him go. I've heard of fire goats. They are supposed to live in the flames of a volcano. It isn't right you should go alone. I wish you given up the idea. You'll be hurt. After leaving her, I returned home, changed clothes. I became the Hawkman, the Hammer of Thor. He was a blacksmith, so this hammer should do all right. I knew Shiera would investigate the mystery in spite of what I had said, so I set out for Krakatoa at once. I can look over the place long before Shiera arrives. Finally, I reached a native village near Krakatoa. Seems peaceful enough, but what's that? Out of the mountain blackness shot a beam of blinding light. I can't let them get away with this. I've got to find what caused that explosion. The fire ghosts were men encased in living flames. I dropped down into the crater. I advanced as near as I could into the flaming sea. The heat is maddening. How anyone could live here is beyond me. Meanwhile, Shiera arrived at the coastal town. First to unpack these things, then I'll visit Krakatoa tomorrow. She was surprised to see me that evening. Ooh, the Hawk! So you paid a visit to the fire ghosts already. And it's true they live in flame and fire. Fire and flame. Yes, they have a terrible power. We'll have to get asbestos clothing. Early the following day, we secured asbestos suits and set off for the crater in Krakatoa. So this is before asbestos was known to cause cancer. The suits will resist a great deal of heat, and where we're going, Shiera, it's going to be plenty hot. We continued down the volcano a short ways when, stuck behind that rock, someone's coming. As a guard rounded a turn, I smashed him with a hard right. 9, 10, you're out. Hawk, how can he stand this terrible heat? These men are coated with a strange substance, made of fire itself. Look, those men are coming. They'll come or kill us for being here. I met their attack, but there were too many for me. I was borne to the ground, and we were taken prisoners. We were brought before their ruler, Mazda. Creatures from the outer world, I, Mazda the Great, intend to destroy your puny world. I will show you how. Come. This is my force generator. It harnesses the pockets of hot steam from the volcano and fuses them into sheer power. It can destroy the earth. Too bad such beauty must perish in the lava beds. but I cannot spare you. We were untied except for my wings and taken to a cliff inside the volcano, where we were hurled over the brink. As we plunged downward, I snapped the rope that bound my rings. Woo, just in time, now to save Shiera. Just above the boiling lava, I caught Shiera and with my great wings took her to safety. The next thing I did was smash the generator with my hammer. I think the world will rest easier after this. Wait here, I'm going after that madman, Mazda. Clear the track, boys, the express is coming through. Ooh, what a Lulu, and right in the button. Stop him, you fools, stop him before he ruins everything. With a wild leap, Mazda threw himself at me. I'll finish you myself. But I slipped to the ground and with a Herculean effort tossed Mazda over me and over the cliff. Yeah! Guess this ends the threat of Krakatoa. I went back for Shiera, then raced from the roaring crater. Scarcely had we passed the lip of the crater that the interior blew up, caused by my destruction of the generator. Just in time. The man below, caught in the explosion, look! It was the native who tried to knife Shiera. You again. Oh well, I'm dying. I'll tell you what I know. Mazda was a scientist who conceived the idea of using the energy within a volcano to make himself a world power. He invented suits of asbestos-like material that fire couldn't penetrate. It scared the natives who thought they saw fire ghosts. The mortally wounded man passed away shortly afterwards. He's dead, and this completes my report of a tale of a rule-crazed mind. I took Shiera back to her hotel, then flew homewards. No one will believe me. What shall I do? Tell them it was a lot of native tales. They'll never know the difference. And that's the end of the story of the fire ghosts. Yes, except I've always regretted not finding out exactly what those flame suits were made out of. Well, it says asbestos was made out of asbestos. Oh, asbestos-like material, okay. Well, Spectre, do you think you can top that story? I don't know, but I can try. This happened not long ago. Midnight, a full moon. As the night watchman for the central building went about his rounds, he glanced at the weird shadows cast by the massive statues that adorn that edifice, and shuddered. Brr, what a creepy place to have to work in. Suddenly, yee! Next morning I joined the coroner in the scene of the crime. Incredible, he was strangled by superhuman strength. Something tells me this slaying is only the beginning. My prediction proved true on the next night. Help! And on the next night. But then, the murders abruptly ceased. Thank goodness he hasn't struck again. I was afraid we had a mass murderer on our hands. I wonder if the passing of the full moon had anything to do with it. A strange premonition made me dread the approach of another full moon, and when it finally did come, my hunch proved correct. The thing struck again. Faster, dear! Help! Even before the chief called me into his office next morning, I knew what his instructions would be. Jim, those moonlight murderers have got to stop. Get the killer. I'll certainly do what I can. That night, another full moon. I left headquarters then for some reason. I walked toward the central building, waiting. Ready for what? As I passed near the building, I was unaware that above me, a pair of eyes were watching me. Had I but looked up, I would have seen a statue starting to climb down from its pedestal. Still unaware of what was happening, I failed to see a bestial bronze face sneering at me. And hands of metal reached out for me. They grasped me by the throat and then hurled me toward a nearby building in an effort to smash me to a pulp. What? I regained my wits just in time to dematerialize myself so that I passed through the wall unharmed. When I came out the other side, I was no longer in my earthly guise, but in my more formidable identity as the earthbound Spectre. Now to take a look into things. Returning to the spot from which I had been thrown, I saw a bronze statue come to life. It's incredible. Ha ha, death, death, thee. That thing is thirsting to kill. I must put a stop to it. I went into action. At that moment, the hideous creature sighted another prospective victim. No, you don't. Whirling, it faced me, crouched, and then it spoke. How dare you oppose the mighty, and just who you may be. From the dark side of the moon. Untold ages ago I roamed the earth in search of violent death. Then satiated, I went off to a distant corner of the universe for a brief sleep. But now I thirst for death, so I am back to snatch what I desire. In that case, you're going back to your corner. You're not wanted here. That I refuse, Spectre, but a bargain. Whoever brings the red moonstone of Ysgarthil to Earth will be given the lot of the remaining. And the other must leave this planet forever. Done. Off into the deepest interstellar space zoomed the both of us, with the fate of Earth at stake. But the crafty gestured, and abruptly I was whirled off in the unbreakable grip of a dimensional current. Away with you, away! The red moonstone shall be mine, and your fate, to drift until the end of time. Luckily, a meteor swam into my path. I made a grab for it. Made it. On through space I hurtled, taking a shortcut through the L dimension. I'll defeat yet. So long, Old boys, see you in eternity. You. In range, contacted a henchman on Ysgarthal. The Spectre comes. Give the customary welcome. Do you hear me? It shall be done, mighty Shortly after, I alighted upon distant ephemeral Ysgarthil and instantly sighted the red moonstone glowing on top the peak of a distant cloud bank. There it is, and soon it will be mine. Then back to Earth, and then the end of But as I near my goal, odd, the wail of a lost child. Wah, wah. Desiring to assist the infant, I grounded the cloud bank, only to find myself face to face with a huge fire-breathing dragon. Trickery. Quickly I leaped over the onrushing dragon's head. It leaped at me. Next instant, a battle royale. I seized the dragon's long, winding tail, then up and down again, and again and again. Finally, it moved no longer. Victorious. But meanwhile, had taken advantage of my activity by seizing the red moonstone for himself. Mine, ho-ho! Mine to flaunt in the Spectre's face. Then off toward the Earth he sped, while I followed closely. I've got to do something fast. Let me think. The hot foot. No, his hand? Ho. A wave in my hand, deep concentration, and dropped the red moonstone with a shriek of pain. Ouch! The stone is scorching! Swooping swiftly below him, I snatched up the precious bauble. Tit for tat, as the saying goes. Later on Earth. See, I have won. Now keep your end of the bargain. Leave this planet. Sorry, I've changed my mind. I'm not going to leave. There's nothing more I despise than someone who goes back on his word. I leaped at We battled mightily, using the trees, lampposts, whatever we could get our hands on as weapons. Break your word to me, will you? I beat him down by superior strength. Now I give you a fate you deserve. Mercy, mercy! I forced him back upon the pedestal. Stand there. What are you going to do to me? I concentrated, and the evil spirit that filled wafted from the statue. Spirit, come forth. As spirit came forth, I forced it to shrink, and then placed it into the red moonstone. Thus, and with a mighty heave I tossed the moonstone into space. There you shall remain imprisoned, so that you will do no more evil. Months later, before the Central Building. Odd how the moon murder suddenly stopped. I guess we'll have to list this case as unsolved. I guess you're right, Chief. Unsolved, eh? I know better. I would bet the Chief wouldn't walk by the statue so nonchalantly if he knew the story of the red moonstone of Ysgartil. Say, that was an exciting story, Spectre. How about you, Hourman? Yes, I have a story to tell. It all started when my boss, who knows me only as Rex Tyler, summoned me into his office one day. There's a costume ball at the Durant estate tonight. I want you to take my niece. But sir, I haven't a costume. Besides, what could I go as? My remark angered the boss, who didn't know that I had discovered Miraclo, and that when I took it, I had extra human powers which lasted 60 minutes, which was the reason I chose to call myself the Hourman. What difference does it make what you go as? Nobody will look at you. They'll be more interested in seeing the Durant Diamond Collection. I decided to have some fun with the boss, and so I suggested, then perhaps I should go as the Hourman. The Hourman, ha ha. Here, I'll pay for the costume. You, the Hourman, ha ha ha. Well, I took the boss's money and gave it to charity. After all, I had the costume. Then that evening I called for Regina. What a novel idea. And I do declare you look just like the Hourman. Or what I think he looks like. Thanks. I wish your uncle felt that way. But hadn't we better get started? And so we arrived at the biggest charity ball of the year. Isn't it thrilling, Rex? It sure is. But say, I thought I had an original idea. Look. Imagine my surprise to discover some of the guests had decided to come as the Hourman. Hey, ain't that Bill over there? He was told not to bring any girls. I was astounded to have a stranger in an Hourman costume approach me and say, do you know what the boss said about bringing women? Ditch her before we start to work. Oh, I'll get rid of her. Instantly I sensed they were up to something. They were not guests, but crooks. I decided to be ready for whatever would happen. I took Miraclo. Do your stuff. Now I'll rejoin Regina. Someone's with her. Oh, here he is, Rex. This is Mr. Durant, owner of the famous Durant Diamonds. The pleasure is all mine, sir. You came with him? You came with him, or glad to know you? Pleasure is all mine, sir. As Regina and I danced, something Dumont had said stuck in my mind. Look, there are the diamonds. Let's go over. He seemed surprised to see me with Regina. Aren't they beautiful? They must be worth a king's ransom. They're insured, I hope. Yes, sir, and we're here as double protection. Suddenly a thought entered my mind. I get it now. Those crooks are after the diamonds, and they intend to blame it on our man. Hey, what is this? As the music stopped, a shot rang out, and there on the bandstand, Don't anybody move. We got this place surrounded. Just look around you. Before I could warn them, the two guards reached their guns. Get the diamonds and we'll beat it. Bang, bang. Alongside me was Regina, frightened and trembling. They shot him in cold blood. Oh, Rex, do something. I intend to. What is this, a double cross? No, a right cross. Suddenly Regina shouted a warning, but before I could turn, Rex, look out. Get going, boys. There's something phony about this guy. He ain't Bill. Then the lights went out. Help, police, murder, thieves, help, help. When I recovered consciousness, the lights were on again. What happened? They struck you with a gun. He's one of them, Miss Page. Get away. I've got him covered. But it was the tightest spot I had ever been in. Stunned by Durant's accusation, I knew I had to get away. So as Durant came toward me, Rex, what are you doing? You're innocent. But I've got to prove it. The police poured into the room as I raced away. There he is. Grab him. More police appeared as I go outside. Fortunately, they didn't see me. There was an ivy vine alongside the building. There was an open window. I'll be safe there for a while. This looks like Durant's study. These papers. What's this one? I made an astounding Why, this is a photostatic map of the house. I I think I'll have a look in Durant's desks. My suspicions aroused, I went hurriedly through our aunt's papers and found a broker's letter. Say, this is... Uh-oh, someone's coming. Here he is. Yeah, we've got him. Not yet, you haven't. I made a mighty leap onto the huge light fixture as the cops came toward me. Hey, come down here. Anything to oblige. I knew I'd have to disguise to pass a cordon of police. Your suit will come in handy to get by the rest. Disguise worked perfectly. I managed to get outside the house when suddenly I saw... Ha ha, we sure gave those dumb coppers a slip. Unobserved, I raced towards the river, took off the police uniform, and dove into the water, swimming after them. I think they're heading for Melba Island. It was a tough swim, but I managed to make it fast enough to see that they went into a cottage. I stole up to it. The gems, look at them. Then I was spotted. Quick, look! Before I could duck, a bullet struck me in the temple. Get him in the house. The big chief ought to be along soon. He's only got a flesh wound. When I recovered consciousness, I found myself locked in an inside room. I've got to get out of here. Wait, I'll try an old trick. Groaned if I were dying. A man came in and... Hey, keep quiet. What's this? Now for the others. Oof. Stunned by my appearance, the men were completely taken by surprise. This is fun. Suddenly Durant appeared. Drop him. Just as you say, Durant. Here he is. 15 minutes later, I delivered them to the police. But what? These will explain. The broker's letter showed that Durant needed money. These gems are phonies. Durant had these crooks steal them. He intended to collect the insurance cover his market losses and pay off these crooks. You sure showed nerve, mister. I guess it must have been the costume, eh? I bet the Hour Man would be proud of you if you knew how you kept him from being blamed. You said it, Regina. And after that, gentlemen, was the tightest squeeze I was ever in. And strangely enough, no one suspected that I, the meat chemist masquerading as the Hour Man, was really the Hour Man. But how about hearing from the Sandman? Well, Hour Man, Ahem. Well, if it isn't the Red Tomato. Oops, pardon me, I mean Red Tornado. Yes, and it's about time somebody noticed me. I've been standing here for the last 10 minutes listening to you guys swap tall stories. Well, why, we meant to invite you, but we heard you were busy. How did you get in? Up the fire escape and through the window. And let me tell you, that's one heck of a way for a self-respecting person to be having to get into places. Well, that's the life of a mystery man. You should know that after all those wild adventures you've had in All-American comics. That's breaking the fourth wall. Yeah, I guess I should. I'm telling you, Flash, I've never been the same since I started battling crime in this crazy costume. Well, now that you're here, come on, make yourself at home. Here, give me your cape. Hey, keep your hands off. Well, all right then, leave it on, but don't stand there in the corner like that. Come on over and join us. No thanks, sir. Not today, boys. Really, I gotta go. Gotta see about a dog or about a man, or goodbye. Hey! Well, she's gone. I wonder what she was in such a hurry for. Looks those fellows. Here's the explanation. Good old Mrs. Honkle, the Red Tornado, is not quite herself today. What do you mean? I mean she must have caught her costume on something while coming through the window. And look, here's the seed of the trouble. She lost her pants. Ha ha ha. There's like an advertisement. So I've read this Flash comic, or the first story. Some Superman comics. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. That's all the I think DC used to be two separate companies until 1945. There was National Comics and I think DC Comics. I think they were actually two separate companies. But yeah. Sorry about that. What I was gonna say was yeah, DC was two separate companies until 1945. There was one which owned a lot of the JSA characters, and the other one owned Superman and Batman, and I think also some of the other JSA. Most of the JSA was owned by, I think, National Comics or something, though. I think that's how. And anyway, they were in like some sort of co-partnership, the two companies, until 1945. So, well, gentlemen, as you know, I have no superhuman abilities. I'm just an ordinary fellow who doesn't like crime or criminals. So I invented the gas gun and adopted the identity of the Sandman. Thus equipped, I do my best to aid justice. One night less than a year ago, I was driving along the country in my natural identity as Wesley Dodds with Diane Belmont. Look there, oh heavens, what can it be? What a huge man, he must be 20 feet tall. With odd eyes, we watched him stagger across the fields and collapse. He's hurt badly. I've never heard of such a strange man, not even with a circus. He's dead. But what could have killed him? This is awful. Searching him, I found a broken hypodermic needle in his pocket. Now, why would he carry this? He might be a doctor, but I'm sure we would have heard of a doctor who was 20 feet tall. I'm going to notify the police and start my own search for the clue to this mystery. And I'm with you. Wow, a man that big oughtn't to be able to die. I heard Newsies calling headlines when we reached the city. Read all about it. Huge bag of human flesh found with man's bones inside of it. What the... Give me those. Do you think that was the man we saw? No, this one was found miles away. But I can't understand the flesh sack. Unless, say, drive me over to the Midtown Hospital. While you drive, I'll change my clothes. This is a job for Superman. Sorry, lady, I'm in a hurry. My apologies to you, but I'm in a mighty big hurry. I need privacy for what I'm going to do. This chair will guarantee that nobody will come in. And now for the safe. Seems to me that a good doctor friend of mine told me about a doctor that experimented in pituitary glands. He got some unusual results, but if I'm not mistaken, he was banished from the profession. I opened the safe easily and reached within. Farrell Farrant Faversham, that's it. Now let's see. Faversham, MD, noted for pituitary work. Banished from profession for daring experiments on rats. Vanished, leaving no trace. Or it should be uh-oh. In these like 1940s comics, it's oh, but I think it's supposed to read uh-oh. Uh-oh, overstay my welcome. Get him up, or we'll shoot. Here I come, ready or not. Oops, get him. I'm doing an awful lot of apologizing. Think I better stop. Halt there, cough. This isn't the best way to leave a hospital, but for me, it's the safest. I dropped from the window ledge a few feet from the sidewalk. Diane was nearby in the car, and we sped away. Got the records I went after. Not much, but something to go on, at least. My task was to locate Faversham. We drove back to the body of the man who was killed and found it. Only a sack of human flesh. Diane was horrified. Take me away, quick. Brown, red mud. Looks like the West Shore Road stuff, a little. Okay, Diane, I'm coming. What do you make of it? I've a hunch, but it's only a hunch. I want to find Faversham. I think he'll solve this case for me. We reached West Shore Road, and Diane screamed. No, not that look. A huge rat stood facing us. I'd need an elephant gun to kill that. Good Lord, what a size. Oh, I'm going to faint. Woo, I thought we were goners, sure. Wonder what frightened him. Oops. Over my shoulder saw a house cat as large as the rat. They fell dead. Say, what's going on around here anyhow? I think we're near our goal. Those animals prove it to me. You mean there was more than one? Oh, you stay here with this gun. If any more animals come, drive away. They'll drop dead after a minute or two. I think I see a house across the lots, and I got a date there. I followed the animal's footprints to a large county house. The tracks lead here. I have a hunch that Faversham is inside. Suddenly a gun started to blaze away at me. Close again. He knows I'm here, so the surprise element is out. But I've got to get into that house. Zing. Cellar door, just the thing. I'm certainly am going places and doing things in a big way. I shot my flashlight about. I stood in a huge laboratory. This is the place where Faversham works. Somebody groaned. No, don't do it to me, please. I'm not going to hurt you. Who are you? What are you doing here? I heard you say Faversham's name. It's him that did this to me, and to the others, insuring us and collecting when he killed us. So that was his purpose. But why didn't he simply kill you? He experimented on those others, loaded their pituitary glands with the secret formula, made them giants in a few hours, freed them, then they wandered about dazed when the drug wore off. Their skins were stretched, but their bones weren't. They fell apart. That explains the skin sacs. Their skin was stretched. It couldn't go back to normal size while the rest of the body did. What a death. Look out! I whirled. There stood the mad doctor, firing at me point blank. How he happened to miss me, I'll never know. You must die. I had one chance to leap for him unexpectedly. You don't get me so easy. And I made it. Glass jaw, huh? You saved me from a horrible death. What can I ever do to thank you? Wait here until the police arrive and then testify against Faversham. Yes, the Sandman. Those murders, the stretched skin cases, remember? I've got the man here for you. Faversham, come and get him. Case all cleared up. It was Faversham. He insured those men and killed them. Used a secret formula to make him big. Their small bodies couldn't stand it, and they died. Horrible. The cat and rat were experiments that escaped. He never gave up the idea of making giants out of men to live. He needed money, and that's how he made it. Insurance racket. Well, let's finish our drive homeward. Boy, wasn't that something. Woo, giants that died and shed their skin. I'll have nightmares tonight. Wow. I don't blame you. I still get them. Well, Dr. Fate, you're a man with an exciting background. You had to have an interesting adventure you can tell us about. Yes, to think of it, I have. As you know, I am not human. I never was a child. I had no youth. The elder gods created me. Yeah, that's a plot hole, cause I think this was before Dr. Fate's origin was shown. So Dr. Fate was Kent Nilsson. He was like the son of an archaeologist. His father died, and then he was raised by Nabu. He was raised by Nabu in Egypt, or in like the pyramids. He was raised. But I'll read that one day. And place me here on Earth to fight evil sorcery. My, is that so? I'm going to tell you one of my strangest adventures. It all happened as a result of a woman's curiosity. One night in the secluded bookstore and antique shop section of the city. That lamp, just what I needed for my hall table. Inza, my Earth companion, entered the store. That lamp, I'd like to see it. With pleasure, miss, I'll get it for you. Suddenly a very beautiful woman stood beside her. Oh, you startled me. I thought you might be interested in an old box over here. It came from Samothrace, home of the ancient mysteries. It brings its owner rare fortune. It is old, I can see that at a glance. It'll make a nice ornament. I'll take it. The woman who handed Inza the box disappeared. Oh, where did she go? What's wrong, miss? And the proprietor disclaimed all knowledge of the box. I'm buying this box. Never mind the lamp. That's not my box. I never saw it before. Take it along if you want what you want, but it isn't mine. Strange thing, not taking money for this box. It almost frightens me. Wonder if there's anything inside of it. Dust, but no, it's a sort of mist, making me drowsy. Oh. Inza slipped to the floor in a faint and dreamed of an ancient Egyptian princess, her priestess. You and the world are in deadly danger. Go to this Dr. Fate. Bring him to the moors along the coast. She did as she was bidden, coming to my lonely tower in the Salem foothills, seeking me. Dr. Fate, help me! You must look at me! From inside my tower that had no door or window, I watched her come by certain magics. Inza, some dreaded thing, brings her here. I walked through the wall. Danger on the coastal moors, something awful. I don't know what it is. We'll go together, come. I cast my cloak of force about her. We rose into the sky. That's an odd perfume you wear. Reminds me of the scent-stealing surfagris used by the olden priestess of Kem. As we sat down by the moors, we were attacked by dead phantoms. Tried to kill us, I should have known. Help! Dead phantoms risen from their graves by sorcery of the vilest kinds. My bodily power useless against the dead, I fought grimly with my hands and arms. Inza, I'm coming! Breaking free for a moment, I made a dash towards Inza. Look beneath you, Inza, and see what things we are up against. She looked and saw no trace of our late antagonists. The phantom soldiers had vanished. But what happened? What caused them to disappear? They were the dead, called to serve a wicked master. Now to find out who sent you after me. I flew to Inza's apartment and looked at the odd little box. Severgerus. It was sealed in here when you opened it. The drug made you a victim of the sorcerer who seeks to destroy us. But why do they want you out of the way? Because he knows I am the only one who can solve the ancient mysteries. If he killed me, he could have done as he pleased. None today think there is any such thing as magic. I can see the Egyptian princess again. She is trying to kill me. Ah! Black magic. The Severgerus gives power to rule the mind. Inza, answer me! Inza screamed fearfully. I knew I had to work quickly. Sleep, Inza, sleep, sleep. I sleep, Dr. Fate. I sleep well and deeply, so deeply. The princess cannot reach me. She will be safe for a while. I must find this mad wizard who seeks to kill her. And who wants to kill me as well. I visited the odd antique shop and found it deserted. Looks as though the bird has flown the coop. I thought I could learn from the proprietor who owned that box. As I glanced about, I saw a horrible thing creep along the floor. An entity from the seabeds of the Nile. Truly, this man is a mighty sorcerer. I flung my force stream, drawn from the power of my body, at the thing. It still came on. Useless, unless, the power of the mind again. I concentrated my brain on the entity, and it disappeared quickly. I begin to see it all now. The man who caused this entity to appear brought it up from his mind. Now I know his weapons. All I have to do is find him. I must hurry. Inza is still in danger. Then I saw what would be visible only to me, a radiance of power used by a great wizard. A worker in black magic always gives off those rays. I entered the house. Talismans, human bones, fetishes and charms. Truly the home of a sorcerer. I opened the door of a huge room. It took me a while, but I found you. Dr. Fate. You, I know. You'll never stop me. I spent my life learning my secrets. I intend to profit by them. You'll never get through this force screen. Even your power won't reach here. He threw maddened unicorns at me. I learned your secret, wizard. They can't hurt me. You learn my secrets, but there are others whose secrets you do not know. The 3 witches of Endor. Endor? Okay. And they throw a smoke arrow at me. I dodged aside, hoping to tempt the wizard from behind the force screen. Die by the powers of the 3 Norns, by the horns of Set and the sinews of Baal and Moloch. Slipped at a time like this, he'll kill me unless... now for your death, rash Fate. I grabbed him by the arm and pitched him across the room. I almost forgot I could do little tricks like this. He had broken his neck, was dying, yet he spoke a little before his soul went to rest. I caused Inza to see an antique shop, where there was only an empty store. I caused her to see the Egyptian princess twice. I thought if I could defeat you, I'd be invincible. Lest you reincarnated in a later age were I not be here, I dissolve you ad infinitum. I return for Inza. You're safe, good. The power of the wizard is broken forever. But how did he do what he did? What magic did he use? He came across an ancient book that explained how the dead could be restored to life by searching for them out in the human brain cells that contain a record of everything that has happened on Earth. That's what all those things you and I saw were, figments of his mind that could be overcome by a stronger mind. You certainly are wonderful. Quit shivering. You're creating such a breeze, you're making me cold. Who wouldn't shiver after what you just told us? Well, I wouldn't care to make that octopus burr. Well, Johnny, don't you think it's your turn to tell a story? Ah, shucks, I'm kind of modest. So the editors have written a story about something that's happened to me. Geez, they're breaking the fourth wall this whole issue. It's on the next 2 pages. After that, we'll hear from the Atom. I don't know if I should stop here, because this video is like... I don't know, I'll read a little bit more. Actually, I'll stop here. I'll do a part 2. I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you... yeah, I'm going to do a part 2 right after this. I just reached 200 subscribers, so thank you all so much for that. I just did, a guy recommended me to do a bunch of Superboy comics, so I'm gonna read that for those 200 subscribers. A guy requested me to do that. I think he's Superman. It's Superman on his YouTube. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like, comment, and subscribe. That'd be appreciated. And I'll see you guys later.